Hey guys.
Hi.
You're listening to Not As We Planned, so get ready for
Honest,
raw,
unfiltered,
unhinged story,
where we share our advice, opinions,
and talk about all the shit that people avoid discussing. We want to point out we are not qualified professionals, although I feel like I am one.
and what we say is the advice we would give to our besties.
Hello.
Hello, guys. I'm so conscious how I say hello now.
Sorry, I'm thinking. Hello. Hello, good day. How are you?
Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys. How are you, babes?
I'm all right.
It's freezing.
I'm over it. I don't get these people who are like, autumn's my season.
I know,
like,
it's my season.
Fuck off. Like, I've got fucking Raynaud's already.
What the fuck is that?
Like, I have really bad circulation in my fingers and they go literally white and they're so cold. I used to get it when I was a PE teacher outside.
Really?
Warmies in my pockets. I don't get it. I'll bring me the sun any day.
No, for me, I think my favourite is like 15, 20 degrees, crisp air, sun's
Yeah, but
out.
that's not what autumn is.
Sunglasses
It's been
on.
raining.
Sunglasses on,
But
jumpers, Uggs.
Yeah, I like a cold sunny day, but that's not the reality of autumn. And I think people are romanticising it and it's annoying me.
Well, I'd rather romanticise it and be happy about it than miserable.
But I haven't been happy about it because it's just been pouring with bloody rain.
Yeah, no, I don't like rain. But we get pouring rain in the fucking summer.
It's true.
I just love autumn wardrobe. That, for me,
Yeah, I like it.
I'm not like, I'm buzzing, it's cold. It's like, I'm buzzing, I can wear a jumper. Do you know what I mean?
I'm just not ready for it. I was holding on to a little bit.
It's meant to be warm next week.
Warmer. It's not
Like 22.
We'll see.
Oh, dear, Carly's down in the...
No, I don't. I really find the mood the weather impacts my mood. So it's not great going into winter. And also I'm very hormonal today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just feel a bit. Yeah.
I'm due on my period.
Yeah. So
Are we in sync with our periods or something?
when are you due?
Like on Friday.
I'm due like Sunday.
Oh, snap.
When are you?
Do we have a period party?
Anyway, catch up.
Catch up.
What's new?
I've had quite a challenging week with Blake. I shared it on my stories, just generally I actually shared his diagnosis, but I think I did on this.
Spoke about it, yeah.
It's just, I think, sometimes eye-opening when he suddenly has one of his, like, I don't want to call it an episode because that's not nice, but like he wouldn't put his shoes on. And it was just a really tough morning when it's like, you can't force a child to wear shoes if they don't want to. And then I've got the other two, like Ivy getting upset that she's going to be late for school. And it's just hard. And I shared it and just was blown away with the messages I got and how much people resonated and how it just really like made them feel like they weren't on their own, which I guess is what we like doing with our content and everything that we do anyway. So yeah, that's been hard, but just sort of trying to get back into routine now. Rome started nursery, but only mornings. Next week it's full time.
That's going to be a game changer.
And he just loves it. It's so sweet. He's like running in, like really happy. He knows loads of people, which is so lovely. He's got some of his closest friends with him. So yeah, so next week for me, I feel like that's when like I can really...
That's crazy.
Crazy.
I've still got Milo at home with me for 2 years because this is September baby.
Oh God, yeah. Look, I was dreading it. The thought of him doing 5 full days, and he's not done it yet. So I do think there's going to be times where I really miss that one-on-one time with him. I've really made the most of it this week in the afternoons. But I think now I just want to crack on and really do more for me work-wise. And so, yeah, other than that, I don't have anything else to report about you.
Nothing massive, really. I had my first, like, slow weekend in forever.
Was it needed?
Yeah, well, we'd planned to go away and then we'd left it and the flights just went extortionate and we were like, we're not doing it. We'll just have, like... It was one of those weekends where we like didn't leave the house. Only went out for date night on Saturday night, and like there were no like it was just so nice. And I think you also get like really close on weekends like that, and it was just really nice weekend. And had a bit of a weird one yesterday. I had like this meeting at Theo's school just to like meet his new year 1 teacher and stuff. And at the end, she was like, "Oh, if anyone wants to speak to me, like I'm here." So I thought I'll just go over and let her know like Theo's home situation, like his parents are separated, divorce still going on, because he is a very sensitive child, and he does come out with things sometimes. And I just want to know people are aware. And as I was saying to her, I should like burst out crying, and I think it just threw me because I don't know where
that's like when I burst out crying with you. And like, I think sometimes you just don't know that the emotions are like there.
And then, but there were still like other parents in the room, and it just I know. And so you know when you're feeling like right, I need to stop crying, but then it's like more, and my eyes were literally like pouring. So I'm going like this, trying not to stop. Like it just really threw me, and she was so amazing. She was like, I've been there. Like,
it was so
nice. Really nice.
Relate.
She was just brilliant. Like the way, I don't know, I really respected the way she handled it, because I was like, just got this crying.
Can you imagine the huge
Karen?
Watch
that one. But yeah, it was just really nice. I think it's really important to know, like, the place your children are spending most of their time. People know kind of what's going on at home. And, you know, I do worry about him because he is, like, incredibly sensitive, incredibly in tune with emotions. And even if I'm putting on a brave face sometimes, I know him so well, and he knows. And I don't know, I just want an extra eye kept on him. But yeah, I think sometimes like things catch you off guard. I like got in the car, I was like, just happened.
Do you know, it was really funny. The day that I was really upset about Blake, I went out for lunch with my friend, and I was sitting in a restaurant, and a woman came up to me and she went, I just want to say, I follow you and I think you're amazing. And I burst out crying.
Yeah.
And then I've got this stranger giving me a hug in the middle of a restaurant. My friend's just sitting there like, and then she turned to my friend and went, you have a lovely friend. She's like, thank you. But she was really, really sweet.
Yeah. I think sometimes, I don't know, it just made me think that like where I am at the moment, like in my journey of things, I feel like in a really good place. I'm very content. I've been very reflective. I feel like I've done a lot of the work. I feel like I've healed a lot, and I don't feel a lot of sadness towards the situation. I think that's why I was like, what the fuck, what is going on right now? And I think sometimes it is just, you know what it is? I think, I'm pretty sure in Theo's cast, like, he is the only child who comes from a family where their parents aren't together. And I know it's all in my head, but sometimes I feel like, I don't know, like a bit of a failure, like I can't explain it.
You don't need to explain it. I really understand.
Like,
I feel the same.
I don't know, like, God, like, is someone judging me like for making the wrong choice as to who I had kids with, or like, am I judging myself that I had kids with the wrong person? It's not, because my kids wouldn't be my kids if I didn't, but I just feel like sometimes, particularly when you're so aware that no one else is in that position in a certain group of people, you're thinking, like, where did I go so wrong?
Yeah. Like, can I say one thing? Like, and I'm not for a second sitting here slating other people, because I agree with you. Like, there's no one else in the kids' class, but just because they're together doesn't mean they're.
I agree. No, I know that,
and you know, if anything, like, we could look at us and be like, actually, like, they may be looking at us being like, wow, like, she's fucking brave, like, and she's left, and she walked away.
Over the years, sadly, there may be people who go through it, and hopefully, yeah.
It's impossible not to.
So I'm hoping they'll feel like they can approach me, and you know, they've got someone.
You approach me?
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, it was just, I don't know, I think it's where it just caught me off guard. Like, I'm so confident in my situation now. Like, we've been going after it for like 18 months. Like, this is my situation. I've made peace with it. I've made peace with, we're not a typical, it's not typical, it's not even the right way. We're not a 2-parent, 2-kid family, whatever you want to call it. I've made peace with that because I genuinely believe my kids are really happy at the moment, and I believe I'm happy. I believe their dad's happy, and that is only positive for the children. Mm-hmm. I've made peace with that, and I think it caught me off guard. And I was like, but in the car, I was like, are you okay? Like, I don't know, just, yeah.
I understand.
It feels funny.
I explained that I felt the day after I bumped into my ex. Do you remember? I was like, I felt really good. I was really proud of myself. And then the next day I kept crying, and I was like, I don't get it.
What's still crying? Yeah. Again.
But I was like, I don't get it. My emotions aren't matching how I said I felt. So am I lying to myself?
I
felt really conflicted.
Driving to get Milo from nursing. I had tears streaming down my face, and Theo's saying, Mummy, are you crying? I'm like, the sun's making my eyes water.
Sometimes I just think maybe it's a way of like just emotions like coming out that like I've
And maybe
been
it's
like
better they
built
are
up.
out.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be too deep of a reason as to why.
I don't know. I like overthink stuff a lot, and like probably no one else is looking at me thinking, "Oh my god, she's the only like separated parent." Like that is in my head. That's my insecurity.
I understand.
But I don't know. When I look at my child, I feel like I feel so bad that I wasn't able to give it to you, but. Actually, what I've given him now is so much better than me just staying for marriage. Like, marriage doesn't define you.
No, absolutely.
Anyway, sorry about that.
Before we delve into emails, I just wanted to remind people that anyone that is emailing in, we may have already read your email out on Patreon. So if you have emailed in and you're waiting to hear your story, make sure you do go and join Patreon because we may have already shared it.
Also, please, guys, share us on your stories. Stories? On our story, on your stories. Like us, subscribe, like
leave the reviews. We need some more reviews on Apple. That would be amazing.
Guys, like just share it with your friends. Like we love hearing like my friend told us about your podcast, and that is the way we're going to grow. And we want to reach more people, and you know we want to help.
Do you know what? I think even like we get so many messages with people saying to us how your podcast has made me not feel alone. Like I feel really seen and heard. Like so many people go through becoming a single parent, having to deal with heartbreak while at the same time
with someone you're healing from.
Absolutely.
And you feel so lonely going through it. Like we've spoken before, you feel like the only person in the world going through it. It's hard to...
And you don't see that light at the end of the tunnel. And I feel like, you know, unfortunately, it happens more often than we realise. Even like seeing what happened with Molly May and Tommy, obviously we don't know the situation, but they are now separated, becoming single parents. Like it, I don't know, I just feel like unfortunately, but realistically, this happens so much. And if we can reach more people and help those people not feel alone, that is the aim of the podcast.
Because we get so many people writing in saying, just listening to you has pulled me through this, like knowing I'm not alone. Or people writing in saying, God, I wish I'd found your podcast when I was going through it. So yeah, just knowing this can be like a bit of a lifeline, a bit of a comfort to people who are going through something that is incredibly difficult.
Share it. So the other week we read out an email or something, and then I think we got onto the subject of swinging. And we're
not here saying we tried it.
And we asked for someone to email in about swinging. And we got an email.
They delivered.
Okay, so it stood out. The minute I got it, I was like, yes.
I saw that come up.
I haven't read it. I've been excited to read it. So this is called A Bit of Swinging, Hotwifing, Adultery and Growing. What's hotwifing?
Let's Google it. The idea of hotwifing comes from the concept of a husband showing off and sharing his hot wife. The non-monogamous arrangement is related to cuckolding fetish.
What's that?
It's like where they watch. It's what you were talking about. That's
what's it called?
Cuckolding.
Cuckolding.
Many, but not all, husbands in such relationships refer to themselves as cuckolds or hotwifers. So it's where they.
This is so weird.
Here we go. A married woman has sexual relations with other men with the husband's approval, usually while the husband watches or joins.
So I was actually talking about this last night, and it just blows my mind that there are men out there that are okay with watching their wife get fucked by someone else. Like,
I think there's just a whole world of people out there.
Yeah, I mean,
it's good that like, everyone's the same.
Yeah, each to their own. But I'd be
jealous.
Green and with envy, like,
yeah,
wild. Like, I would never.
Also, like, but even say I was with someone who wanted to share me. Because of my values, I'd feel like I was doing something wrong, even
No, but it's like, do you know what? It's not even about feeling like I was doing something wrong. I'd feel like an object. Like, go fuck him or what? Like, I don't know. Like, I'd feel disrespected.
Yeah, I'd want them to be like, no, like
I want them. Yeah, I would rather someone be possessive and like jealous than the other. I feel like there's like one end of the spectrum is like controlling and jealous and too much. The other is like, go fuck him, I'll watch. I'd rather but if there was a middle, I'd rather be more that way than being more overly jealous than like, yeah, I'd quite like you to go and
Yeah, I
get him.
guess to some extent it makes you feel like they wouldn't care. Like,
Yeah.
no, it's like, yeah.
Remember that was my
It's not something I've actually thought.
that was my ex-husband. I feel like he didn't care. I'm not saying he wanted me to get with other people, but I feel like he never showed any ounce of jealousy. Maybe without me even knowing, he had some. No, I don't think so.
My ex-husband wasn't jealous of anything.
No, neither.
But I
Sometimes I think I tried to make him jealous.
There was never situations, but it was never like, I never ever tried to make him. It wasn't like a toxic thing like that. It just,
Mine never.
I was very much like I was so loyal to the man. Like I used to feel guilty if someone flirted with me, and I'd tell him because I'd feel guilty.
That's exactly how. Like,
But I wasn't trying to make him jealous. But I remember we went on our first like girls' weekend away. Since I'd had kids, we went to Barcelona and we were around the pool. And this guy came up to me and was like, "What's a guy like me got to do to get a girl like you?" And I was like, "I'm married." And I just ran off. And like, that's me. Like I'm not someone that can entertain something.
Yeah, cool.
That's just where my values stand. But even the fact he'd approached me, I told my ex-husband because I felt guilty, which is weird because I hadn't done anything.
No, but I do the same.
That's, I don't know. I just, I
feel like there's a scale, isn't there, of like jealousy, lack of jealousy, like wanting you to go and get fucked by someone else. It's wild.
It's like,
let's dig in. Okay. I saw your recent post, so I thought I'd write in with my story. Sorry, it's really long. Feel free to cut it down if you can. I've been waiting to write this for a long time. Okay. My partner and I have been together for 13 years and I have a daughter together. Over our time together, we have had many ups and downs, from financial worries to having to make my heartbreaking decision for my mental health of having an abortion after my coil came out and I didn't know. We had a very good sex life and liked to try new things. Dressing up, we regularly use toys, etc. A couple of years ago, my boyfriend suggested we try a bit of swinging. I wasn't so sure at first, but to understand it a bit, we joined a swinging website. It's called Fab Swingers. If you want to have a laugh and see some truly shocking sights, go and have a look. Should we quickly go on it?
not my phone.
I'll do it later. So you fill out your profile details, including what you were looking for, add some saucy pictures, and then you get chatting to people. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Not that I would ever do this.
Market research.
Can you imagine doing it on like using your ex's photos?
I hate the idea of like putting pictures of yourself somewhere.
Oh my God, I think for market research, we might need to try and find a way of doing
myself
that.
as swingers website.
Then we can use like fake photos, no? Anyway.
It's your pictures.
No. Okay.
This gossip. Like, gossip websites like, oh my God, that test is on the swingers website.
After meeting single men and a few couples for a drink initially, my boyfriend expressed he was more keen on us meeting with another couple. However, I did not want to because I couldn't think of anything worse than seeing him with another woman. This was something I wasn't willing to compromise on. And while I knew he wanted to try other things, I said I'd be open to it. MMF.
We know this.
Male, female. I'm sure you girls can figure this one out. Only because Carly got asked it on a dating.
That was traumatic.
I would do MMF.
Hang on.
Hold that thought.
Would you actually?
If I were to ever have a threesome, I would only ever do MMF because for me, like she says, I would never want the person that I'm with another woman. I don't like sharing. And it must be a fucking experience and a half to have two men on you at once. I would never do it with someone who I saw a future with or had potential with or had feelings for. Do you know what? I think it's one of those things. You know, sometimes people say like you have a fantasy, but you'll never live it out. I wouldn't call it a fantasy, but the thought of it, I think, sounds pretty epic. Can you imagine, like, this is obviously me painting a really unrealistic picture because this would never happen.
Yeah, you've got to think about like realistic men as well. That's the thing.
Yeah, like I'm literally picturing like I'm I'm on holiday, out with some girlfriends, and then these two gorgeous men are like,
What, all over? Yeah. I'll scrap your mates.
I'm just saying, like,
What, they come up to you and go,
no, because if they did, I'd be like, ick. Oh, can you not talk? I don't know, just, I can understand what she's saying. If I ever had to have a threesome, I would rather it with 2 guys. Them not touching each other at all, just all on me. No comment?
I'm not going to say anything.
You prude. Okay, right. So we went down the hotwifing route, which my boyfriend absolutely loved. He would chat to a bloke about me, send pics. We'd have a chat between the 3 of us. And once we had okayed the person, I'd meet them for a couple of dates and then end up sleeping with them.
So he didn't go,
Hold on. We would either meet the 3 of us and have some fun, or I would meet them on my own. If I went on my...
Get the on the own thing.
Hold on. If I went on my own, I would film it for my boyfriend, which he loved, especially the meet with the black guy. I know you want to know. And yes, he was huge. This is brilliant.
I'm actually still processing it because it's like,
I understand that because that was his fetish.
I thought it would be that like he would always have to be there. The fact that like she can go out without him, I don't know. I feel like I was cheating.
The meets would happen maybe once or twice a month at a push. They were with regular 2 guys. During our time of experimenting, we got married, which was just the perfect day spent with all our friends and family. That I find wild, don't you? This is amazing. I'm having so much fun right now. A few weeks later, my new husband had been to the gym and there was an issue which normally would have hugely pissed him off, but it didn't, which I found very odd at the time. A week or so later, he was an absolute mess and said he had to tell me something. He said that he had felt annoyed that he wasn't able to do what he wanted to do when it came to our alternative sex life. I was pissed off that I was having it all on my way, which absolutely was not the case. I would have quite happily kept with sex with just being for us, but trying to be a good partner, I listened to his needs sexually and said I wanted to try some other things, what I was and wasn't happy to do.
I think if you're experimenting outside of just you 2, boundaries must be like absolutely vital, and surely like you'd have to respect that. No?
Yeah. He then admitted that the night he went to the gym, he had cheated on me at a dogging hotspot. He was a mess, crying, saying he was sorry.
Whoa. I'm really confused. I thought, is dogging where they just go and watch people have sex?
Well, I guess maybe. No, I think. Oh my God, this is all.
Oh, look at my search history.
Get a bit horny.
Dogging. Oh, okay.
What is it? I think maybe they watch and then they come to the...
So dogging is British English slang term for engaging in sexual acts in a public or semi-public place or watching others doing it. So you can either be a dogger or like you're either doing it or you're watching it. So maybe he was doing it.
No, maybe he obviously went and watched and then someone came to him.
That's that thing.
Okay. I decided to forgive him and work through the things, but now on reflection, I think I buried the cheating because he was such a mess. I supported him through it. He was mortified of what he had done to me, and as a result, he was off work and he was never sick and wanted to end his life. Because of this, I never expressed how much it hurt me, how I struggled with sex now, not feeling enough, and how I can't look at our wedding pictures because it makes me so very sad. To add a little more into this, I've discovered a lot about myself recently. I'm a massive people pleaser and highly sensitive person. I've never spoken up for myself due to old trauma that I'm working through. I've allowed things to happen in our relationship, such as subtle gaslighting, talking to me like crap, always criticising me, never resolving arguments, often walking on eggshells due to his moody and reactive behaviour, all of which I've held in my body for years. And as a result, I'm mentally exhausted and suffer a lot with anxiety. I'm now doing the work, going to see a therapist, setting the boundaries and not accepting shit behaviour, which he is finding hard. As you can imagine, it's causing a lot of friction between us. I feel like I'm growing and he is stuck in old patterns which are no longer serving me and they are making me feel unwell. That's the thing, isn't it? I think when you're in a relationship and one is really starting to find themselves growing and improving and the other one is staying still, that's when you grow apart. You either have to grow together or it doesn't work. For me, it is make or break, and I've expressed this to him. He's going to therapy at long last and we are going together, but I'm worried the damage has been done and things can't be changed. After reading the book Attached and various others and listening to a fantastic podcast about relationships with Stephen Bartlett, which was truly insightful, I'm not sure he is the right person for me. Any advice is greatly welcomed. Sorry for the long email. The thing is, I feel like it's hard for me to completely give an opinion because what you've explained and the sort of stuff you've gone through, I can't relate in any way. So at the end of the day, cheating is cheating.
I think as well, like that's where I think on paper or like talking about like a fantasy like that, I think there's a very big difference between talking about something like that and that materializing. And I think a lot of people perhaps make the mistake of trying to bring a fantasy to reality and not actually mentally, emotionally being able to handle the reality. And I think no one knows how they would actually react in that situation until they're in it. I think particularly a lot of men probably have this idea like, this is what I want. And I think when they're in that situation, it's like, oh shit, like it's, and I think as well, like just listen to what you wrote there and saying you're a people pleaser. It does sound like you did all this because you knew that's what he wanted and you wanted to be able to give him something and fulfill that in some way. And I just think it, like, for me, it highlights like no matter what you do, it's not going to be enough. And at the end of the day, we should never compromise on our own beliefs, our own values and where we feel comfortable. Like at the end of the day, if you're with the right person, they will respect you and your boundaries and they won't resent you for not changing those boundaries and those goalposts to suit them. They need to respect you. And I think mutual respect in a relationship is so important. I think like the fundamentals of a relationship are, well, I want you to be happy, but if that's at the detriment to like something you don't want to do or something that makes you feel,
do you know what I think? Look, obviously part of this I can slightly relate to. I understand. You can see very easily where this went wrong. He had a fantasy, she wasn't completely comfortable with it, met him halfway, and at first it was really exciting for him, but then he felt like actually she's getting to fuck other people. He really wanted to as well. He wasn't, and maybe out of some sort of resentment. So I'm not for a second justifying what he did, but you can see very easily what happened.
I think
it's that risk. It is that risk of not keeping the fantasy just a fantasy, and once you live it out,
keeping a relationship between two people, I think it gets complicated.
Look, I think it obviously works for some people, but with this situation, they weren't actually really on the same page.
Even that podcast I listened to where they had the swingers, like,
by the way, was it that
Sisters in the City?
Oh, fine. No, because I saw. You won't follow her because you're not on TikTok. The Mormons in America, and they all swinging.
I started watching
that woman, and she ended up cheating her husband with one of the guys.
Yeah, she caught feelings for someone she was swinging with. This is where it's dangerous, and I think particularly women do catch feelings when they have sex with people. It's a chemical thing.
Or the man cannot hack his fantasy being lived out. He gets paranoid, he gets jealous, he gets insecure.
I believe
he goes and acts out.
There is a reason for monogamy.
Yeah.
I think it becomes messy when more people are involved. Do you know what I think as humans as well? It's so hard to regulate your own emotions and recognise your own feelings and stuff like that. And relationships can be hard enough anyway, like navigating life and stuff, let alone like adding in other people involved.
I mean, that was so interesting. Guys, if anyone is listening to this and you have more swingers, like sex parties, anything, I find it
I do want to say though, like, because she wanted some advice and it does sound like you're doing the work to reflect. I just think like,
I think soon you'll know. If you carry on doing the right work, you won't need our advice. You're going to know whether it's something that can be worked on or not. And like we've always said, that takes two people. If you are willing to do the work and work on it, but he is not bringing enough to the table, you'll know at what point you'll either have that light bulb moment where you're like, this isn't enough for me, or he might have a light bulb moment and be like, I'm about to lose her. As long as you're open with your communication and you let him know, like, this is where I stand, this is what I need from you. If he cannot deliver, you don't feel like you're right, keep us updated though, please, because we want to know.
Guys, I feel like we've got some really good emails.
Why? Go on.
This subject, you might hate me after this email.
Oh, okay. Hate's a strong word. Let's go.
Actually, on the word hate, I just want to share something. So I was chatting with Legally Nick. She's on Instagram. Go and follow her. Just about something going on in my personal life. And we had a really interesting conversation about the word hate and in reference to like ex-partners and things like that. And she was like, you don't hate him. Hate's very close to love. She's like, try using the word pity and just see how that makes you feel. And honestly, it's changed quite a lot for me.
Really?
Terminology, I think we often think it's a hate thing. It's not. And yeah, just anyone listening, try and turn that word in your head when you get that feeling, you're like, I fucking hate him so much. Try and turn that and be like, I pity him. I don't know, it just was interesting perspective.
I can understand that where we're at now, but if you find out that someone's just cheated on you,
oh, absolutely hate them. Yeah, that is hate. Yeah,
that's fucking hate.
But you've got to go through it. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, that's interesting. I like that.
Anyway, you might hate me after this email. Hi girls, I love you girls in the pod. You've really helped me try and process some of my emotions over the last year. Think about my actions and also consider the future for both myself, my husband, and my kids. I've been with my husband for 10 years, married for 3, and we have children together. 2 years ago, I made friends with a girl and her husband, and then something happened which I'm not proud of. I fell in love with my friend's husband.
It's giving me goosebumps.
We fell in love with each other. He left the marriage and has now moved on with another man and is having a baby. No, she left the marriage.
Fine.
I was like, what? There's just like a twist of what's going on here. Right, sorry. I think she's just missed out the S.
I mean,
I just read the next line, so it makes sense.
It's funny how one letter can change everything.
She left the marriage and has now moved on with another man and is having a baby. I'm so happy for her, but we are no longer friends, as I think she noticed I was friendly with her ex and didn't like that we would sometimes meet with the kids for play dates. Totally fair enough, and I would do the same in her position.
Oh, so
she didn't know it was because...
So she left the marriage. Do you think that because she said because she was friendly with her ex, do you think that they were having an affair while they were married?
I don't know. Can I read the story?
Yeah, sorry.
The issue now is that I'm still in my marriage. I have expressed that I don't feel the same anymore. I'm not attracted to him in that way, but I don't want to be brutal and hurt his feelings. He loves me, although he wouldn't if he knew what I had done, and doesn't want us to separate. The man I fell in love with has completely shut me off, as he knows I haven't left and doesn't want to get hurt whilst I'm still with another man. Understandable.
So hold on, he doesn't know.
Her husband doesn't know. This makes me feel quite uncomfortable. He has shown quite a few red flags, seems a little narcissistic, but I also get where he was coming from in a way. This is not a normal situation. I think he's completely within his right to shut you off if you've not left your marriage.
But why would she leave her marriage if he doesn't know? Like,
no,
point of view.
No. This is the man she's in love with.
Sorry, I'm confused.
The man she's fallen in love with, so her friend's ex-husband, has now shut her off because because he doesn't want to get hurt whilst she's with another man.
Can you go back a bit? Because like now I'm seeing, like, sorry, I thought that the whole time she was talking about her husband.
No, so the husband doesn't know.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get you up to speed.
Yeah.
She has told her husband she's not attracted to him anymore, doesn't love him, but she doesn't want to be brutal.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's quite brutal, but yeah.
The man she's in love with has now completely shut her off because he knows she hasn't left her husband and doesn't want to get hurt, which I think fair. She's saying that he has shown quite a few red flags.
Oh, the other guy.
And seems a bit narcissistic, but also get where he's coming from.
Understand.
This is not a normal situation.
Understand.
He has seemed like a different man over the last year and has dated other women. I mean, as well, like, the fact you've not left for him...
He can't just wait around, can he?
Absolutely not. And he's no longer
married.
I know what I've done is wrong. I feel like an awful person. I know I'm not a bad person, but I have done bad things and I just want to do the right thing now. My husband deserves love, but I just can't give him that. I don't want to leave and for it to be a huge mistake. This email probably makes no sense, but I'm just very lost right now and needed to share this. I would love your advice about what to do, as I can only speak to one of my friends about this. Financially, it would be really tough for me to leave and devastating for our families, who would be very shocked, but I don't want to spend my life with someone I'm no longer in love with and deserves better. What do you think?
Can I say one thing that's quite interesting you're at the moment with him, but it doesn't sound like you want to leave him for the other guy. You actually just don't want to be with him. And that's one thing that is really standing out to me. I would be really like, not convincing you, but I think it would be more of a shame if you wanted to leave for a guy that you also feel like is showing like red flags and this, that and the other. Like, it sounds like you seem independent enough to leave the marriage not for another guy, because I don't think, by the sounds of it, having a relationship with the person that you are having an affair with, I don't think that would be a happily ever after. At the end of the day, when a relationship does start from infidelity, I think that it's quite rare. It does happen, but I think it is quite rare for that to be a successful relationship, because you're starting with a real lack of trust because you've both not been faithful. You're right, your husband does deserve better. You're not in love with him. Yeah, it might be a financial struggle, but I think you know deep down that you should end that marriage, and I don't think it should be for that other guy. I think it should be for you and for your ex-husband to find happiness elsewhere. Thoughts?
And just try not to be really mean.
Well, she put the title, just give it.
Look, the fact you're as far as in love with someone else, even though you're not thinking about leaving for him, but the fact you've said you're in love, it takes time to allow yourself to fall in love with someone else. Mm-hmm. So for me, that's you making a conscious decision every day to connect with him, to see him, to meet him, to build that bond. You don't just meet someone and you're in love and that's that. So for me, I find, I'm so sorry if this sounds brutal, but there's a conscious decision each day where you're disrespecting the man you married, the man you had children with. And I don't know, I guess being on the receiving end of some of those things, like being told you're not attracted to them anymore, being told you're not in love with them anymore, all those things are quite damaging to someone.
Yeah.
And I think if I was to put myself in your husband's shoes, he must be feeling pretty shit in himself at the moment anyway, like having those things told. And I just think he probably deserves the respect of being told. I know if it was the other way round and that had been going on for me, I would want to know what had happened. Yes, it's really hard. It's devastating. But I think there comes a point where you owe him that. Like, you married the man, you were in love with him at some point. Sorry, it does make me incredibly uncomfortable. And I think obviously I can resonate with it being the other way round to some degree.
She knows she's done wrong, and I think that
you've made your bed and you have to lay in it.
Yeah, I think that he deserves to be with someone that really appreciates him and loves him.
100%. Everyone deserves to be loved properly. Everyone deserves to be respected. And if you've said it yourself, you don't believe you're the person who can do that, then set him free. And
set yourself free. Mm-hmm. Don't stay just because you think it's best for the kids or it's better financially. Of course, there's always a better than one, but I think you know what you.
It's not fair to continue doing that, how long is that going to go on for? That's really not fair.
And also, you're not happy.
No,
you're not happy. So I think you leaving will eventually.
And well done for writing it, because that must have taken bloody balls.
Yeah, I agree.
Accept ownership of it, because I think a lot of people can go the other way and be really defensive. Towards their decision.
I just think that you know deep down that.
But that's why you wrote in.
Yeah, you making that move to end things might be hard for both of you in the first, initially, but eventually it will make both of you happier, I think.
1,000,000,000%.
This one's called In Shock, Advice Needed. Hi, I've been listening to your podcast from the beginning as I follow you both on socials and love a good mum podcast. At the time, I could have never have imagined I'd be writing in with my own story. I even relayed some of the stories to my partner for him to agree that some men are arseholes and how could anyone do these things.
Oh, no, shit.
Today, my partner of 9 years told me he had met someone else. I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, I know. My tummy just went funny.
We have a 3-year-old little boy and I'm 20 weeks pregnant with our second boy.
God.
He said it's been going on a couple of months. The girl is 23 and you guessed it, they met at work.
Another one.
What makes this horrible situation worse is that I lost my mum in April. And so this was either going on while she was dying or right after. What a fucking prick. My mum loved him and was comforted by the belief that her daughter had a good partner.
God.
Over the last couple of months, I've known in my gut that something wasn't right. I asked what was wrong, were we okay, was his mental health okay, only to be told every time was fine. And that me constantly asking was what was putting him in a bad mood. Fucking gaslighting prick. I wanted to believe him, probably partly because I'm pregnant. I really convinced myself that I was just being hormonal. I hear so many stories of amazing, strong women on your podcast. I so badly want to be strong too, but I just don't feel it. I feel that everything has been taken from me at once. I never want my children to feel that this negativity affected their lives. I want to be the best mum I can be and feel that my life from this time last year is unrecognisable. I'd really appreciate some advice on where you start doing the work. How do I become okay with this? How do I accept that a 23-year-old who played a part in destroying my family will at some point be around my children? Where do I start? How can I ever trust anyone again? How do I get the best version of myself at the most vulnerable time in my life? I cannot believe that this has happened. I feel I'd be judged so much at being a single pregnant mum. Any and all the advice would be greatly appreciated. I love your podcast, which now has a whole new meaning to me. Thank you.
I just want to say firstly, didn't you say she found out today?
Yeah.
Like, you're not meant to be strong right now. You're meant to feel everything, feel angry, feel sad, feel heartbroken. It's really, really important to sit with how you're feeling and allow it, allow your emotions. Right now, you're not going to have any answers. It's going to look scary. It's going to be frightening. It's not just new information. It's like what we've spoken about. It's like how you imagine your future was going to be is suddenly all stripped from you, because we all dream and we all have an idea of what we want our future to look like. And when you're with someone, you've got children with them, you can't ever foresee it being any different.
Can I just point out, she said like, how will I ever like get used to the thought of this 23-year-old like meeting my kids? Please, so early and in the thick of it, please take it a day at a time or even an hour at a time. If you ever find yourself starting to worry about something that hasn't happened yet, try and stop yourself and be like, no, that's not happening today, because it may never happen. You don't know if this relationship is going to last, so try your best not to give yourself anxiety and worry about something that, one, you have no control over, two, may not happen, and you shouldn't need to worry about the same thing twice. So I remember whenever I used to think about something that didn't even exist, I'd be like, Tash, no. Just worry about what you're fucking having for lunch, like literally hour by hour. And that is what I want you to take from us reading your email today. It is so raw, and
you can feel those things.
It's for day at a time. That's all I want you to do for now. A day at a time.
Hour by an hour.
Yeah. And
I remember in the early days, I couldn't even do a day at a time.
Don't torture yourself thinking about things that haven't happened yet. So hour by hour, feel the feels, try and keep yourself, busy with friends. Like, don't feel like you have to be this like martyr, that you need to be this strong, independent mum and do it all on your own. You've just been hit with a really, really bad situation.
I was to say, no one's going to judge you. They're going to judge him.
Yeah.
And you were in love with the man. You wanted children with him. You were having a baby. Like, I think this is something that I've always struggled with, is like, I do sometimes worry about being judged for being a single mom and people judging, I don't know, choices I've made and whatever. But actually, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about anyone else as long as your children are loved and looked after and cared for and safe. People's opinions can go somewhere else, but I guarantee you were the person putting that pressure on yourself, and most people don't actually think like that.
No, I agree. But yeah, please keep us updated. Our inbox is always open. If you join Patreon, there's also a group chat. A lot of people will be able
Really
to,
helpful.
yeah, like it's constantly flowing. Everyone giving each other advice. It's so nice. I'm sorry that you're going through that, and yeah, we're here with you through that journey. So reach out whenever you want. Confession of the week.
This is great.
What?
I signed the other woman up for information on plastic surgery and liposuction.
That's great. I thought you were going to say for a swingers website.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
Affirmation of the week. I'm actually going to read this out. It's actually a quote that we put on our Instagram a few months back. And this is like really, I feel like for the girl that just wrote in, okay? So if someone isn't choosing you, choose yourself. No more trying to be enough. No more trying to heal them into loving you. And no more trying to convince them of your value. Life is hard enough. Don't make it harder by chasing love that isn't available to you. Let them go. Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, guys. Make sure you leave a good review. Go and share with your friend. And we'll see you next week. Bye.